Do you think people there was a lot of speculation a couple of months ago where people were asking where she was. Do you think people are now more patient and more understanding that the Princess of Wales is going through cancer, that she has done this video message, and that there isn't so much upset that she isn't going to appear at the Colonel's review?
But I think most normal people are. Most people are happy to sort of let her recover. Obviously, you've still, unfortunately, got some very silly people on the internet, some trolls on Twitter and various other things, or X or whatever it now is. And I'm afraid there's nothing much you can do about those people. There are some nutters out there who spread all sorts of ridiculous rumours about her. But most people will be happy for her to recover in the background, and really so that when she comes back, she'll probably be bigger than ever, but make sure that she's fully fit.
I was thinking this the other day, that she's going to be Queen one day, and she's going to be Princess of Wales for, Princess of Wales and Queen for another 40 or 50 years.
Well, we hope so.
We hope so. But just having her away for 4 or 5 months, I mean, we should understand that, really, shouldn't we? We should, because we're going to see a lot of her. She's given a lot of her time over the last 15 to 20 years as well.
Yeah, she was already the biggest star in the royal family, and obviously when she comes back, I think she's going to be bigger than ever. And the fact that she'll come back hopefully fully refreshed, fully fit, fully recovered means that people will just love her even more, and the interest in her will just be absolutely astronomical. But let's not put her under too much pressure. Let's make sure that she recovers first, and she's a mum most importantly, and make sure that she's well enough to look after her kids.
You're totally right about discussions in the last couple of weeks about this, and it's her medical team that we're told, because when you have cancer, you might be fantastic one day. So she might wake up on the morning of the Colonel's review and say, well, I feel 100% I can do this. But you don't know, you can't be sure. So she needs to go through a longer period of time where she is feeling okay, where she, so she doesn't have to, be forced into doing something that she doesn't want. No. And interesting you say, like, autumn maybe, and there's been a lot of rumours about later in the year. That would be a sensible time, because we get rid of the summer holidays, we get rid of the general election. It would be a sensible kind of benchmark for them to actually put in a diary and say, tentatively, maybe we could see her before the end of the year.
Well, we've got some very important things coming up in the autumn. We've got the Heads of Government conference in Samoa, which obviously the King will want to go to if he can. If he can't go, then obviously William and Kate would be required to go to that. So if she's well enough to do that, that would be great. Again, the King and Camilla might well go to Australia and New Zealand after that or before that. So, these are very important events. So let's get her fit and well, and then she can fit into these things if needed. But it's dependent on both of them getting better.
Yeah, 100%. I'm expecting King and Queen to go to Australia. I mean, we put it on the front page. The King wants to go to Australia, so I'm expecting him to be there, and also for the Samoa. It's going to be a huge autumn, isn't it? Once we get past the election and the summer break.
He's not been to any of the countries that he's head of state in yet, has he? He's been to Germany, he's been to France, he's been to Kenya, but he's not been to New Zealand, he's not been to Canada, he's not been to Jamaica, he's not been to Australia. So all of these countries would really like to see their head of state. So, he's got to start soon. And obviously it's been derailed by the illness, but I'm sure that's what he's aiming for, to do that in the autumn. And obviously if William and Kate are fit as well, they might be able to play a role in that.
Be interested in your thoughts about the Princess of Wales. Obviously, you've seen her, and we mentioned at the beginning, you've been reporting on the royals for. You don't want me to give the exact, because it feels a long time, but it's 38.
Say whatever you like. Yeah,
it's 38 years. So you've seen a lot of personalities, from Diana,
I have.
All the way through Prince Andrew, from his marriage all the way upwards. We'll get on to a little bit about what you remember and what you experienced later in the show. But where does the Princess of Wales? Where does she fit for you in the kind of pantheon of royal stars, of royal characters?
Well, I think she's right up there. I mean, I think it's unfair to compare her to Diana, because they're both different characters and they're playing different roles. But Diana was an amazing person, but she had certain flaws. But I don't think Kate has really put a foot wrong, and she's been incredibly supportive. And I think she's done it in her own way, in a different way. But she's just as big as her, and she really is the sort of superstar of the royal family now and coming in the future. That's why it's so important that we look after her.
Yeah, looking after her, you're right. I mean, the Sun has supported her as much as we possibly can, and we will do in the future. We will continue to do that, and our readers, want to give her space and time. But talking of space and time, and talking about Diana, one thing that comes in my mind is that the Princess of Wales' job is not strictly to go out and appear at a lot of engagements. She has a really important role to be a mother. It's 2024 and it sounds archaic, but she has to support the future king. She has to bring up a future king or a future queen. Let's say it's 2024. It sounds archaic, but these are incredibly important jobs, right?
Yeah, well, I think the fact that the King and Kate have both been battling cancer has really sort of focused us on this and made us realise. I mean, for many years we had these three generations. We had the Queen and Prince Philip, then we had Prince Charles, and then we had, of course, William and Harry. But now with this slimmed down monarchy by default, it's suddenly made people realise, well, hang on a minute, it's a bit too slimmed down. And we really are, we're in a sort of period where obviously we all want the King and Kate to recover and press on. But we're going to have to wait 10 years before George and Charlotte and Louis come through. And they're obviously going to play their role. So it's going to be a very sort of important decade coming up. And as long as they're all fit, I think they're going to be able to get through it. And the King will, obviously hopefully have a good long reign. But it's obviously never going to be anything like his mother.
Yeah. Now, talking of members of the royal family that we haven't seen for a while, there's a date in my diary. I think it's after check. I think it's June the 4th. Princess Lilibet will be celebrating her 3rd birthday. She is young. We don't see Lilibet very much. She was born in the US. Are you excited about her birthday? Were you expecting to see a new photograph like we would see Louis, we would see Charlotte, we see George? What's your take on Lilibet's
It wouldn't
birthday?
surprise me if Harry and Meghan put out a photo. I mean, they're quite good at putting out photos of their family when they want to make a point or they want to show us, that they're just as important as the rest of the royals. I can't get terribly excited. I just find it extraordinary that she's already 3. I mean, it's unbelievable.
I had to check because
It is amazing that she's already 3, but there is this underlying sadness, of course, because of the rift that the King is not seeing his grandchildren. I think he's only met Lilibet possibly once, and Archie only a couple of times. And there they are, 7th and 8th, I think they are in line to the throne, growing up on the on the west coast of America, and with American accents, and they just don't see them, and it's very sad also for Thomas Markle, Meghan's father, that they don't see them. So that is the underlying sadness, and whether they're going to one day heal this rift, we don't know. But at the moment, I don't think there's much prospect of it.
I remember during the Platinum Jubilee when the late Queen was still alive, Harry and Meghan were over, obviously, and they took Lilibet to see the late Queen at Windsor Castle, and they turned up with a photographer. And the photographer was prevented from coming into Windsor Castle for many reasons. Firstly, the Queen wasn't very well. There was still kind of COVID issues, I think, around that time, and you have to plan guests to come into Windsor Castle. Do you think Harry and Meghan are going about this the right way with Lilibet and Archie? Obviously, they've taken them over to the US, but they're not able to see the members of the family. How do you think about that?
Well, the big fear that I think the late Queen had, and also the King now has, is that when they turn up, they do tend to turn up with a sort of Netflix film crew or a photographer in tow. And you always get the feeling that whatever happens, whatever the discussions are, that it's going to sooner or later end up on a programme or in some sort of podcast or whatever.